Hey guys, it's Gameface here and welcome back to a little bit of a different video. Today I'm going to be talking about Neymar's £200 million transfer to PSG, which looks likely to happen. It looks like it could well be happening in the next few days or potentially over the next week or so. Of course, £200 million is a huge amount of money, would quite easily make it obviously the biggest transfer ever, and that is just his release clause as well, that PSG are deciding to pay, and that means that he will therefore go to PSG, providing that, of course, that financial fair play rules will allow them to do that. So before we get too far into today's video, if we could try and hit 100 likes, I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well down below. That would be absolutely fantastic. Let's crack on with today's video, and yeah, it does seem like Neymar's been given permission to talk to PSG and potentially get a move to PSG in the next few days. Like I said, it's going to be about £200 million, so 198 million I think is the official release clause, which is about €222 million. And that is also going to include a £650,000 a week tax-free wage for Neymar, which of course is ridiculous, really. And actually, according to reports, doesn't necessarily make him the highest paid footballer in the world either. Lavezzi is reportedly on close to £800,000 a week, obviously the Chinese club that he's currently at, although those reports do differ quite a lot. So Neymar could well be the highest paid footballer in the world, but it does seem like Lavezzi is certainly up there as well. Definitely makes him better paid than Messi and Ronaldo, of course, who he will be leaving in La Liga. And yeah, it doesn't seem like La Liga have taken that one too well, to be totally honest. They have already complained and refused to accept PSG's money. They aren't very happy with the fact that PSG don't really seem to be conforming to financial fair play rules, although that hasn't been confirmed yet. So we'll see over the next couple of days whether actually they can get this deal over the line or whether they're actually breaking the rules. We have seen PSG and Man City both being impacted by the financial fair play rules, which were much harsher over the last few years than they have been in recent times, which seems a little bit ironic as the deals have got bigger and bigger each summer. But if they do have issues with financial fair play, then that means they'll see a squad restriction down to, I think, 21 players usually for the Champions League, along with a fine, which of course they will easily pay. I think it might even be as much as £40 million, but of course, to PSG, that's not a huge amount of money. And obviously, as I've spoken a lot about the financial fair play rules, PSG must be able to prove that they haven't made a loss of over €30 million over the last 3 years, which of course does seem likely, even though they have signed a lot of big deals with a lot of sponsors and that sort of thing. But €30 million loss over the last 3 years, you kind of suspect they probably have managed to do that. But again, I'm sure they'll be able to pay the fines or they'll take whatever implications they get from UEFA if that is the case. So that could happen potentially, but this is a huge Neymar deal, and I'm interested to see what you guys think about it in the comments section below. Should he be really leaving Barcelona in a really, really good league? Some would argue the best league in the world, of course. There's arguments between that and the Premier League, of course. Going to PSG, who of course should really dominate that league season by season. Of course, they didn't do it last year with Monaco winning the title, but of course, with the team that they would have with Neymar in it, you would really be a walk in the park for the most seasons. There's not a huge amount of competition, some would argue, in the French league, but of course, we'll have to see what Neymar is able to do with PSG in the coming season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about what you think about this Neymar deal. Is this amount really crazy, or is this just simply the way the football is going over the next few years? It has obviously escalated very, very quickly about the amounts that have kind of gone from sort of Ronaldo's £80 million in 2009 to Neymar's potentially £200 million in 2017. So in just a short space of time, really sort of more than doubling the amount of the most expensive player in the world. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Really interested to see, especially about the fact he's leaving Barcelona. Obviously, virtually guaranteed trophies every year. Of course, it hasn't always ended up like that, but in an amazing team as well. It does seem very strange to have done that. Of course, it does seem like he wants to kind of leave Messi's shadow a little bit with the fact of obviously moving to PSG and being their main man now. Zlatan's gone, and PSG were always going to be signing someone big this season. It was reported very early on in the summer that they wanted a big name to come in, and they wanted someone that's going to be a huge statement and a huge signing since Zlatan left, obviously, last season. So it was always going to be a big player. I thought that big player might well have been Sanchez, according to reports. He seemed like that could have been happening as well. And there's still reports that they actually want both of them as well, so it could happen like that. It does seem likely, though, with them being very close to breaking financial fair plays, if they haven't already, that the Sanchez deal would be very unlikely to be on top of that. But you never know with PSG, anything can happen. They're happy to spend as much money as they want, but it doesn't seem like La Liga have taken it too well, as have Barcelona as well, with La Liga especially accusing PSG of being in an unfair position, as they are backed obviously by Qatar and backed by the state. So it doesn't seem like they're too happy about that, and they're saying it's unfair on Spanish clubs who are trying to compete with them. Let me know your thoughts on all these sort of things, but in my opinion, I think the Neymar to PSG deal is very, very strange. I personally would have obviously stayed in Barcelona, played with Messi, and when he retires, obviously them being the main man. But of course, he maybe doesn't want to wait for that. Maybe he thinks that by the time Messi retires, he's going to be out of his prime, or well out of his prime. He's 25 now, Neymar, and Messi's obviously, I think, 29 or 30, something like that. So when Messi retires, which could be in 5 years' time, who knows how long Messi's going to continue playing for, then obviously Neymar will be well out of his prime at that point. So it's a really difficult one. Personally, I'd have probably stayed at Barcelona and probably just not got the ego side of things, which seems to be the way that Neymar's coming across, that he wants to be the main man, wants to be the best player at the club and the focal point, if you like. I'd have just tried to sort of ignore all that and just kind of focus on the football and play with Barcelona, which is already an incredible achievement. So it does seem like a very sort of strange deal for Neymar to be apparently pushing through, as well as his dad as well, who is getting the amount of money his dad is getting from this is absolutely incredible. His dad is his agent, and his dad has been waiting for a bonus from Barcelona, ironically a loyalty bonus from Barcelona this week, which is supposed to be about just over £20 million, I think, or 20 million euros, and as well as getting a signing on fee for Neymar, which would be over 30 million euros. So that means that just in those two payments, he will have earned more than Messi will have in the last year, just from those two payments, and that is Neymar's agent. So, incredible stuff, really. It does seem like there's a little bit of a collaboration between those two to try and earn as much money as possible from these football clubs whilst they're still playing and whilst they're still in the game. But of course, that's the way it is, sadly. That's the way football has turned a lot of the time. I think some of the spending is quite nice to see and some of the spending is quite exciting to see, and then there's some which are just ridiculous, really. We have seen that a lot this summer, as we have in previous summers as well. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because this is obviously potentially one of the biggest deals. It's not necessarily going to happen. Like I said before, financial fair play rules might rule it out, might prevent PSG from doing it, or it might mean that they get fined for doing it. It really depends exactly what sort of what circumstances happen and what UEFA have to say about it. But it does seem like he has been given permission. The manager's given permission to leave and sort out his future. He's only at the training ground for about 40 minutes today. He arrived at 9, left at 9:40, and that appears to suggest that he's obviously missed training. He's obviously collected his stuff and seems to have said goodbye to his teammates. So it does seem like it's likely now. It does seem like it's only down to the exchangement of the money and the fact that maybe the money won't be exchanged or whatever is going to happen with that. Obviously down to financial fair play rules. But yeah, it does seem like a very bizarre deal. Neymar was actually bought by Barcelona for about £49 million in just 2013. They're now going to get about £200 million from him back. Of course, they'd rather have the player than the money. I think that's quite obvious. Even £200 million, I think they'd rather have Neymar for the future, for the long term, than £200 million, which would probably go quite quickly, given the fact that clubs know that they have that amount of money that they've got from Neymar, and as such will just rise their prices for the players. Of course, Barcelona now have to get a replacement as well, so let me know who you think Barcelona should get. Dybalà's obviously been one of the names that have been mentioned. Mbappe, more likely Real Madrid than Barcelona, I'd suspect, but still very much in the running amongst other players as well. So it'll be interesting to see who Barcelona replace him with. I think it's clear they have to replace him. Whether they'll have time to do it in this window, or they'll have to wait until January or the next summer even, then we'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure they'll want a replacement as quickly as possible. Coutinho has been one of those players that has been named as well, with Liverpool not wanting to sell him at all. But that does conclude today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Today has been a double upload, so if you haven't seen the Ajax career video that's gone out, then please feel free to go look at that on the channel, and tomorrow will be the Manchester City career mode. Thank you all so much for watching. If we could try 100 likes, I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the channel or just haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button as well down below. That'd be absolutely fantastic, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.